Well, here you go. You get a twofer today. The kids have worked at this a bit for me. I finally jumped in and got them to finish the prep work on it, and I started painting it, so it's coming along real good. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but it's a Model A axle, and he's got the wheels all off for me. He's been wire brushing them so that they can get a coat of paint. We're gonna keep them green. It looks kind of nice, and it goes along good with the maple syrup.
Different.
Yeah. So you thought it would be just an anchor down point of like a small...
He probably, I don't know, but since we are putting, we're doing it different than he did.
Okay. Well, this whole little deal held the sawdust trailer from our sawmill when we got it. And it had just been sitting back there. Now, when we pulled it out, we were thinking that it was, you know, with the dark green, that it was military. He pointed out to me, he's painted the rims on the wheels now. See how nice they look? And what did you say it was, an A?
No. They use, though, it's a Ford 36 to 39. And then 39 was the first year set on the internet for hydraulic brakes. So you probably could tell by looking inside here, but I don't know how. So it's either a 36, 7, 8, or 9 Ford.
Okay.
And then it said there's a way to tell. They call those wide 5s because of the 10 1/4 inch wide bolt pattern. You even can tell what those came off from the width. If they're 4 inches wide, it was a truck, and I think it said 3.5 inches was a car, and if it was a V8, they were 5 inches wide. So,
see, there's clamps here for a hubcap to even go on it. Which, well, no, we don't have a hubcap for that. But before we painted them green, he said this was the same color green. This truck came from the same farm originally as this did, just at different times.
30 years ago,
yeah,
we got that from the same guy. He had a farm auction, and then he just got down to his sawmill business. And then we bought the sawmill after he died at another auction, and this came with the sawmill. It was just he had a sawdust vacuum blower thing, went out the back of the building, and put the sawdust in a little, looked like a little mini covered wagon, but it sat out, so just by trying to pull it home, it just fell apart. So that's some of the timbers. So basically our sawmill cut that up probably 50, 60 years ago and made this cart.
Okay.
And then when we bought this truck, it had a completely rotted out flat rack off some other truck, and he had a poly tank on it for a sprayer. So we immediately took the tank off. I think it was bad. Like the sun got to it, it was all brittle or something. And then I hauled all of our rocks with it. So I just load it up with rocks and then take it somewhere and throw them off by hand because it didn't have a hoist.
So this trailer we've probably had here at the farm for, well, Bethany was a baby, I remember. 5 years? No, she's 7 now. 6 years. So we go back and forth about how long we wanted it to be. We didn't want to make it too long and have it be awkward, but he really thought it should be 7 feet. And then he thought, I don't want to cut off the 8-foot deck boards and waste that space. And I kept thinking if we keep it for ourselves, and we were back and forth on keep it or sell it, you know, because we don't have a small trailer, and our little trailer that we had, well, it was a dual axle trailer, got borrowed by his dad for moving around his lawnmower. Stolen, yes. We're not going to get it back. So we've got a couple trailers that we can build to replace that, and this is perfect for doing maple sap. At the length it is now, I can put an 800-gallon milk tank on it. Not with these tires, no, but...
I made it 8 because these were 8.
Yeah.
So I checked, the deck boards are 10, so I gotta cut them anyway.
Oh.
But this is what I thought. if you put a tote up here,
Yeah.
you have room for a trash pump and a hosiery.
Yeah, or little kids sitting on it.
It looks a little long, and I wanted to do it 7 and shorten this up. But then I thought, well, if you put this will handle it. These tires will handle a tote, but not a milk tank. You're crazy.
To get it out there, just to use it.
That would handle an 800-gallon tank.
Yeah.
So
This is what he means by that well, because we've got much bigger. What did you end up saying these dimensions were? 6?
6 by 6.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right, so 6 by 6, and these are 4 by 4, and we had bought these to do some gate posts for Bethany's garden and something else. Oh, we have a cast iron bell that we just haven't gotten around to putting up. Jack got it all cleaned up and ready for paint last year, so maybe eventually the bell will go in Bethany's garden. She started doing her little decorating stuff, and the woodchuck is up, so he keeps digging holes and nibbling on our tulips. And we just decided we'd work on this. So it's been windy and cold. It's only 36 degrees today, despite the sun. It's cold. He's got his bibs on. It is windy, and he asked me to help him with his building his deck. So I picked him up some construction screws. We were running low on those. So we're gonna build this all up. No sides or anything?
Not for a tote, no.
One of the neighbors has got a small orchard, and he has something about this size, and he put some stake sides on it for cutting and pruning so that nothing had to be left behind and picked up later. Just about the right length for a little yard cleanup cart too. So we can just pull it with about anything. I've got an old hitch for this car too that we can even put on the newer Buick and pull it around with this, huh?
Yeah, you could pull this with your car.
Well, 8 foot, that's long enough to put a couch on it.
It's
you know,
fine.
that's not huge, but... So how wide is it going to be?
I did it a little bit over 4 foot because I have so much room, and then I figured nine deck boards at 5.5 inches is 49.5 inches. So that's how wide it is. So it's a little bit more than a sheet of plywood or something.
Yeah.
You know.
We already had deck boards for another project. We were going to rebuild a different trailer.
That's why I stuck this on with a couple bolts.
Okay.
I wanted to see what we had as far as offset.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
I didn't want to get the deck built out to here and find out the offset and the tire was into here.
Yeah.
Happens to guys, and then you'll see the little cutout.
I see that a lot with hay sales. All right, well, we're gonna get to building the deck then, and I'll show you it here in a little bit.
All right.
Well, here's how it's coming along. We've got to cut the front, and he's asked me if I wanted to make it like V-shaped in the front to have a little extra space, which isn't a bad idea because then you've got a little spot to throw like just buckets or your straps, things like that. We had to wrestle some of these a little bit more than we would have liked, so we got some boards that we had in the barn. So these last two are a lot longer than the rest. I picked up these light duty. They didn't have any medium duties that went up with like a square with 4 bolts, but this will work out okay. They say 1,200 pounds. The box said 400 pounds, so that's kind of sketchy about which it is. 4-pack for $5, so that wasn't too bad at Menards. I really wanted the kind that have 4 bolts, but had to settle for 2. The great big jumbo ring was a 2-inch ring, and the bracket was 4, but it was no stronger of a bracket. If I went up to $4 each, then it was a heavy-duty bracket, but only 2 bolts, similar to this. So I wasn't going to get there what I exactly wanted, but any amount of tie-down is better than no tie-down. And I said to him, this is just a little smaller than the manure spreader, and I think I can get 40 bales of straw on the manure spreader. So
where's the other ones you got?
They're in the house.
In the trunk?
Oh, yeah, they're in the car.
Grab them and look at them.
Okay.
We can put this back.
So this is the difference in the bracket. This was like $2.50 each, and it says it's 400 pounds. Now this pack said 400 pounds, but right there, it's saying, I know it's blurry, 1,200 pounds. So, this just seems like a bit much, but the bracket itself is kind of light duty, I think. This actually feels a little thicker. What do you think? That would cost us $10 to do 4 instead of $5.
Yeah, I'll put these back in the package and we'll send them out.
Do the heavier one then.
Seems like circle would wear out much slower too. Yeah,
I don't know.
It can just swivel and...
Well, some of those ratchet straps have a double hook on the end, and
You got 4 of them?
yeah, I did. So he was just telling me that I gotta kind of stay back here for my side because of the turning radius for anything on the hitch.
Basically, it's gonna go like this if you want a little extra room right up in here for a couple of buckets or something.
Yeah.
Might as well, why not? And then you will end up missing this by letting the saw get through, obviously.
Okay.
And then from that point, so this will have to be back. You gotta figure this will be back in here like this. So that's about all you can do right there on the middle one.
Yeah. It'd be really good to have something that you can just hook up and you can put a ball hitch on one of the tractors for it too, and it's not too high, the tractor. One of these days I'm going to find myself a little tiny tractor with a wide front. I like the wide fronts for the woods. The trouble is, the things that are gas don't like to start when it's cold. And I love the little Ford tractors, but every time I look at them, everyone says what trouble they've had trying to keep them running or getting them started. It's the same problem, owner after owner. And I just stopped looking because I just decided we've got these tractors here. I have the 630 gas that we started doing some work on it. And I've just been running the diesels more, and they start real well. I just don't like the pony motors for starting them, so one of these days I'll get past all that. But I love being out in the woods and doing my maple syrup, and there's a bit of a cold spell going on right now, like I said, so the maple syrup season isn't over yet. Trees like up here in the yard, they're starting to bud out, and you get like sour tasting syrup and bad tasting, you know, sap when that starts happening. But in the woods, for us, it's real cold down there, and it actually extends the season there, and it starts later too because of the slope that it's on. It's not getting the sun, so that they're not budding out. So when everyone else is done, sometimes we can still go for another 2 more weeks. Making a line there. And that's where you're going to meet there, and you're just going to connect them.
Right up through here, I'll make a line.
Okay. Did you lose some depth?
Some other job, I guess. Is it on? Or no? No.
Yeah, you got to reverse your direction.
That's probably not going to cut anyway. Okay, these you're definitely just going to have to
Yeah.
hold, because that's going to rip them right off. And
can't hardly feel my hand anymore. My fingers are froze. I can only wear one glove and operate the phone. Should be wearing 2 gloves and propping the phone up on something.
So we might just have to grab the Sawzall. Finish through that one now.
Okay. Got it. Well, I kind of. I didn't get there for that one yet. Oh, she's a bugger.
Okay.
All right, I'll have to Sawzall that section.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it.
Yep, nothing you can do.
Okay. How nice that is. We went and got the Sawzall and he got that all trimmed up. I had to deal with a customer coming for one of my table and chair projects. That paid for our groceries for today. And he decided to bolt that or screw it right into the 4x4 on the end, and then it doesn't take up any surface up here. Fully anchored, not in the way, and yeah, they can't pull out because they're 2 3/4 inch screws. These are number 9 construction screw, and we just buy it by the 5-pound box because we use them a lot. Well, not excessively a lot. I'd get the bigger box if we did, but they have them in a 1-pound box. I think this was $15. I had to get quite a few supplies today. So if you notice, we were just discussing our tire and tube situation, and it's about $27 for 1 tube at Tractor Supply right now. These are a 6/16 and they don't match. So this, we've got, you know, the ribbed ag tire and then just the 3-rib ag tire on this one. So I don't know about that. For this one's bad though. It's got a hole somewhere right in the outer line. Maybe it was on the, oh yeah, right there. So he says he's got another one of these, or 2.
6.
Okay, so we can just choose. Is that the same as what was on the like 60 and 630s and stuff, and you had a bunch that didn't match?
The little ones, I don't like them.
He's gotten some tractors where they have 3 ribs and 2 ribs, and when they don't match, he doesn't like it. So
yeah, I like that 70 behind you. Those will be 650s, and that's what I like on them.
That one matches.
And I think we put those on there years ago. Those will probably match that Firestones, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what we like. These are really puny. A 6-inch and 650. You wouldn't think it'd be that big of a difference, but these actually run downhill a little bit, and they don't look right. So we have a few of these that were okay. Like this one. This came off another 70, and it sat flat in some guy's barn for years. See that?
Yeah.
But with a tube in it on a little cart like this, I hate to throw them away because the rubber is not hard. They're not junk. It's still fine, but both sides are really... So we kept them for...
Yeah.
It's probably not proper to have a...
As long as it rolls, it's better than, you know...
Good enough for who it's for. So.
Trying to carry around buckets, and yeah.
What's it matter?
Good enough for who it's for. I think we're deciding we're keeping it.
Well, I looked it up, the old Ford wheels, and you really can't get what you could get for the axle. Even those hubs are like $185 for a set, those brake hubs.
Yeah, the value that's in it
so
versus what you could sell it for, you couldn't rebuild it with new stuff.
So to try to find another axle, if you sold all the Ford parts and did get them all sold to a collector, you'd end up taking the same money and buying just as heavy of an axle somewhere else. So why not just use it, keep it, and because you've been asking for something anyway. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's kind of cumbersome to take the manure spreader out when there's, you know, 20 or 50 or, you know, whatever bales.
See, that's not bad for you.
Yeah, I can move it around if I get in a pinch. You can't do that with a manure spreader. And this is the right height that Trey could even use it when he's working on his straw and things like that. So I think it'd be good to keep it. It's come together really nice. And again, I used that Rust-Oleum gray paint that we used on the milk tank and that 6,000 gallon tank. I had an open can left over from that. And this was already gray. This was just a slightly darker shade of gray. But it's come up really good. So we'll figure out what we're going to do about some tires on it. And we'll show you it when it's totally complete. Is the tire stiff because it's old? And this is one from the storage trailer. Boyd's getting us all set up with matching tires. The tubes came that we ordered off of eBay. We got the buy one get one free deal over the Going to Tractor Supply special. And they don't have the big honkin' valve stems. The valve stems on the ones that we've been getting for the 616s at Tractor Supply are like 3 inches long. They're huge, and these are just normal. Got the boys on jobs today. Trey's working on mowers, and he got my bike out and aired up the tire for me. Haven't been able to get to it because of all my furniture projects, and didn't want to pull it out and have to deal with it. Air filler upper was already going to be out. It's just a nice day. It's almost like 80 today. It's breezy and shady right here where I'm at. Hard to believe we're getting 80-degree days at the beginning of April. Trey got a free snowblower on the side of the road the other day. I told him, don't worry about it, you'll probably get a snow still. Now the normal valve stem is working against him. It's nice to see a job getting all finished up. I told him it's a nice day to go out in the woods where it's a little cooler and collect some firewood, but everything with a hitch is kind of packed in, but the pickup truck might be able to do it. If the pickup truck doesn't get stuck if it's muddy. That's no good. I think the tractor's taken apart, he said, right now. Oh, that's great. 2 matching tires.
Kind of.
He says kinda. Well, they got 3 ribs each.
Pretty close.
As he says, good enough for who it's for.
This one has a little narrower rib up there, different brand.
Yeah.
The size is the same.
Yeah. You see, it sat around for a long time with no air in it. But, well, you figure in a $12.50 tube, that's good enough. The tube's doing all the work. As long as nothing can go like into it and puncture it. Yeah. This looking like something now.